in sports. He had a tweet basically that the Heat are holding firm on, I believe it's a Mo Harkless, Avery Bradley, Myers Leonard trade for LaMarcus Aldridge. And the Spurs just don't want it. They'd rather go for a buyout, right? In my opinion, you don't give any more than that if you're the Heat. And if he is a very attractive option on the buyout market, I think a lot of people are making the mistake thinking that it's LaMarcus Aldridge from 2 or 3 years ago, but it's not. He's not better than Kelly Olynyk right now. Kelly Olynyk does a lot of things for your offense. He spaces the floor next to Bam. He's a very important cog in the offense. The team is just better, whether defensively and offensively, when he's on the floor. But with that being said, the problem is when Kelly goes to the bench, or who's behind Bam and Kelly. There's a drop-off there, and you're relying a lot on Andre Iguodala. And Andre Iguodala is not a young man, and you don't want to see him playing 20, 25 minutes a night as your backup power forward, and he doesn't give you a lot of size either. I mean, Iggy plays his heart out, but come on, like the guy should be, 12, 14 minutes a game and not playing back-to-backs and saving his legs for the playoffs. So a guy like LaMarcus Aldridge, what he would do, in my opinion, is give you another 4 off of the bench. Even if you gave him starters minutes, even if you made him a starter but really played Kelly starters minutes, I'd be fine with that too. But what it does is provide this team with reinforcements. It's a guy who can still score in this league. One of the problems when you look at the Miami Heat bench, who on that bench, outside of Goran Dragic and Tyler inconsistently, can go ahead and get you buckets, and there's not a lot of guys. So when you're missing a few of those pieces, the offense kind of falls off a cliff. But Marcus Aldridge is one of those guys who probably every 2 to 3 games can drop 18, 20 points for you. And like I said before, it's going to give Jimmy and some of these other guys a little bit of a break.
Well said, as always. He's Alphonse Sidney. You can follow him on Twitter at Alf954. Check out his work as he hosts Hangover Time from Miami Heat Beat and Light Skinned Opinions as well. Alf, thank you so much for taking the time, man, and enjoy the week coming up. And actually, before I let you go, the Heat take on the Cavs tonight. Miami are 10.5-point favorites. Is this going to be stress-free, taking care of business, or could it be one of those fourth-quarter dicey finishes?
Tie game with 6 minutes left.
I knew it.
It's our MO. Listen, it would not be the Miami Heat in 2021 if it was any different, and Jimmy's going to pull it out.
Well said, man. Enjoy the rest of your week.
All right, brother.
Good stuff as always there by Alf. Hey, by the way, got the YouTube working. Yeah. What did we have to switch cameras, Tito? Is that what we had to do?
Yeah, just for the time being.
It's a good thing we have five cameras in the studio.
Getting your right side, that's not a bad thing. You're getting your right side.
No, I think this is my good side, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll keep that for note next time.
What's your good side? Which one? Right or left?
I like center, like just my face.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I have a good side. That's the issue.
All right, fair enough. Now I'm going to be creepily looking at you to try and ascertain whether that is true or not. 844-416-8123. Got a really funny soundbite from a Heat news conference I want to play. And the funny thing about this is, and I'll tease it this way, when I saw the headline about a question asked to a Heat player and a word that was used in this question, before even listening to it, I knew exactly who asked the question. There was no doubt whatsoever in my mind. And then I listened to the soundbite, and sure enough, this was funny, my friends. We'll play that for you when we come back. Hey, every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the entire country when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to two of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans, OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
For over 20 years, Mr. Glass has been committed to the safety and satisfaction of our clients. Our products are the culmination of innovative engineering, aesthetic appeal, and the highest levels of quality. Through our legacy, Mr. Glass strives to impart the true meaning of quality, service, and sustainability to new generations. Reputation, experience, and trust is why clients choose Mr. Glass. Live the future now. Locate a dealer near you today.
At Baptist Health, we are ready
to serve, to treat,
to safely proceed with your procedure.
We're ready for ER visits and office visits
with skilled surgeons,
advanced medicine,
and multidisciplinary teams.
We're ready for new arrivals
and new recoveries.
We are ready.
We're ready to diagnose, treat, and manage
anything that comes our way
with exceptional care and comfort.
With the same preparedness and compassion you've come to expect from Baptist Health.
And we are ready.
We're ready.
We're ready
to care for you.
Can I get a captain?
Captain and what?
Captain and Ginger.
I can't hear you.
Captain and Ginger.
He was a captain and Ginger. Captain and Ginger. He was a captain and Ginger.
Captain Morgan, official partner of Major League Soccer.
Every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the country when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to two of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans. OnsideRadio.com. You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world.
Big news, Miami fans! Body Armor is proud to be the new official sports drink of Major League Soccer and Inter Miami CF. It doesn't matter if you're a player or a fan, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you with potassium-packed electrolytes, antioxidants, and no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Whether you're at home or in the starting lineup, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you from kickoff to the final whistle. Body Armor, now the official sports drink of Inter Miami CF, available at your local Publix.
You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Dude, so, every now and then something that's said or a question that's asked in a post-game presser for one of our local teams goes viral and national. And this one went viral mostly because of Jimmy Butler's pretty hilarious reaction to it. So Jimmy Butler was asked a question, and of course, it was by our own Ira Winderman. We love Ira. And obviously Ira is he's the best Miami Heat reporter in the business, man. So, but Ira also, he's incredibly intelligent. He's a bit of a brainiac, Ira. So Ira is asking Jimmy Butler a question here, and he uses a thesaurus type of word, okay? And listen to the question and then listen to Jimmy's reaction.
Obviously, you've won 10 of 11, so the standings tell us one thing, but does it feel like you're coalescing as much as the record shows into something? I mean, 10 of 11, pretty special.
Don't do that. Come on now.
Coming together.
What the hell does that mean?
I mean, you won 10 of 11, so you're obviously showing how good you can be, I would think.
Well, you said a big word. You confused me.
Oh, coalescing. That means coming together, congealing, gelling.
You could have just said that.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think we're coming together well. Everybody.
No, I'm going to be honest, and I'm not shy about admitting this because I got a damn near perfect score on the verbal section of my SATs when I was 17. So, and obviously I do a job, for a living here where I have to use words. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Coalescing, that is the type of word that I might use, but I did not know what it means. I'm with Jimmy. I would not have known what the word coalescing means. I know I've heard it before. I know it's a Brainiac thesaurus word. I am not ashamed to admit, as someone, I consider myself pretty good with words. I did not know until Ira explained it what the word coalescing means. Are you with me on that, Tito, or is this one you actually knew?
I probably could have figured it out from context clues, but I agree with Jimmy. There's a couple different words he could have used there that weren't coalescing.
You guys are coming together.
Gelling, we're gelling together. We're coming together.
And then he even used the word congealing, which is that was part of the explanation.
That's
like an even bigger word than the original word.
And we talked about this. What are the other reporters, right? That would probably use big words like this. We know who the other candidate for this is.
Whittingham.
Yeah.
All over.
And credit to Whittingham. Vocabulary game, A1.
He flexes it though so much.
He knows
even more than Ira.
He hit me with a klaxon one. Do you know what a klaxon is?
I don't know. It's a horn, right?
Yeah.
I actually did know that one.
Klaxon.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's like a horn. It's not like a Viking
Make
horn.
a loud noise. Beep, blare, honk, toot.
Oh, so it's not even like the noun. It's a verb.
It's a verb.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was a noun.
No.
My God.
That damn Whittingham.
Wow.
That damn Whittingham.
Whittingham, though, he does it on purpose. I think
he picks and chooses his moments.
Ira is just so damn smart, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's like with great power comes great responsibility. I don't think Ira's doing it on purpose. And I'm not saying that Witty isn't also smart. There's no question he is. But with Witty, it's I think Witty enjoys knowing I'm going to ask a question with such big words that you're not going to have any idea what I'm saying, and I'm going to love it. I think he does it on purpose. I'm telling you. A lot of the other reporters, Barry Jackson is super smart, but I think he puts things in pretty simple terms. But Ira and Witty, you need a thesaurus to talk to those guys sometimes. All right, we got the 4 o'clock hour coming up. I want to get into a couple of different theories that I have on why the Miami Dolphins have been so quiet, awfully quiet, terribly quiet, a little too quiet in free agency. You're listening to Man of the Match here on Onside Radio. Hey, Onside Radio enters Kai's Corner with Kai Chen Chisholm every day from 10 a.m. to noon. Join Kai as he discusses the biggest stories in South Florida sports. Tune in every day, 10 a.m. I just realized I'm covering up the YouTube camera when I put up this notebook. Join Kai every day from 10 a.m. to noon on the home for South Florida Sports Talk, OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the home of Inter Miami CF.
His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for Inter Miami.
OnsideRadio.com, where the passion for La Rosa Negra runs deep. You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. OnsideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
Can you count, suckers?
here's your Onside Radio E-Report with Michael Christian.
Electronic Arts has now suspended discretionary content granting following the events of EA-Gate. EA-Gate was the Twitter name given to the allegations that someone involved with EA was selling rare FIFA Ultimate Team cards through black market channels. In a statement released, EA said the alleged behavior is unacceptable, and in no way do we condone granting or purchasing player items in exchange for money. This practice runs counter to the game's competitive integrity, is a violation of EA's user agreement, and is not something we tolerate. All accounts involved have been banned, and EA is currently investigating the individuals involved. If you are looking to improve your FIFA Ultimate Team by buying some packs or checking out the auction market, I'd hold off until all this gets sorted out.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the Onside Radio E Report. You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
And 4 o'clock hour of Man of the Match here on Onside Radio, taking you for 2 more hours until game night with Michael Christian, which is 6 to 7 o'clock each and every day. You heard Michael there in the Esports Minute for today doing an excellent job. Every time I hear Michael or Toast doing the Esports Minute, makes me want to play a goddamn video game. Mario Kart, I'm pretty decent at. FIFA, I can hold my own. First-person shooters, I'm so bad. Hey, just want to let everybody know we got a little bit of a late start today because we had a technical problem with the video feed, but it's working now. So yeah, I know that a lot of you hop in, right away, 3 o'clock for the YouTube feed. We didn't get it up and running till about 3:40, 3:45. So you can find us now streaming video. Get in on the chat. We'll have some fun. Go to YouTube or YouTube.com, depending on whether you're on the computer or on the smartphone app. Go to YouTube, search Onside Radio. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. The subscriber count is going up. We're up to 210, which is not bad because we've been like 8 days on YouTube. So we're building up the subscriber count. So subscribe to our channel. Turn the alerts on so you can see when we're live. But basically, if it's between the hours of 8 a.m. and 7 p.m., chances are we're live. So you could just assume that. But subscribe to our channel. Get in there, in on the chat. Make sure you give us a thumbs up because it helps blast the video out to more people. It's good for the algorithm. And, yeah, we can all chat together on the YouTube live chat. Or if you're listening and you want to text us, 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Earlier, I mentioned that I highly recommend using the YouTube chat, and NorCal asked me, Donno, when you say you highly recommend it, does that mean you're baked right now? Asking for a friend. No, I'm not baked. I'm sorry. Sorry to disappoint you. I'm completely stone cold sober, but it doesn't mean we can't have some good discussions in the YouTube chat. Now, the legal tampering period opened up yesterday, NFL free agency, and the Patriots have been signing anything and everything, anyone and everyone. Tight end position, wow, for the New England Patriots is pretty lit now. They got Jonnu Smith, former FIU Golden Panther yesterday. They take Hunter Henry in free agency, now former Los Angeles Charger. I think that's a great signing. They're trying to recreate what they had there. Now, they don't have the quarterback anymore. From Tom Brady to Cam Newton, that's Pfizer to AstraZeneca. That's a little bit of a drop-off there. But, they're trying to recreate what they had at the tight end position, almost a decade ago when they had Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski. They're trying to recreate that sort of magic, and the Patriots are spending a ton of money. A number of teams have been active. Miami Dolphins have been very quiet, okay? And a lot of Dolphins fans, and we might need some group therapy here because I had a bit of a Twitter meltdown this morning. I'm getting free agency FOMO, fear of missing out. I am a victim of free agency FOMO. As a Miami Dolphins fan, I have grown accustomed to Stephen Ross and whatever GM is in charge, from going back to the Jeff Ireland days, even the Rick Spielman days. Like, I'm used to the Dolphins being big-time heavy hitters and giving out big money in free agency. So I get a little bit bored, and I get a little bit anxious, and I get a little bit jealous when I see other teams, especially within the AFC East division, spending big when the Dolphins are doing nothing. Like, I start to get worried when I see the Patriots clearly making their team better. How much better is debatable, but they're clearly making their team better in free agency. I start to worry that Chris Grier is playing his fiddle while Rome is burning. He's just waiting for the secondary and tertiary, I used a big word, free agent markets to come into play, where he's just going to sign, the value players and sort of the sloppy seconds and thirds, because the teams who bite first in free agency are the ones that overpay, because the top tier free agents are the ones that you pay the premium dollars for. And then once you start to get to like the second and third week of free agency, when the teams with the most cap space have already spent most of their cap space, then the markets get cooler and you start to get the bargains. Clearly the Dolphins are waiting for the bargains. And I need you guys to talk me off the ledge here, because I don't want free agency and the opportunities that come with it to pass us by. Barry Jackson tweeted out today, it would be surprising and disappointing if Miami doesn't emerge with one of the top 5 wide receivers still on the board. Golladay, Curtis Samuel, Juju Smith-Schuster, Marvin Jones, Will Fuller. He says Dolphins have the cap space for any after passing on yesterday's pricey wave of pass rushers. We'll see if clarity comes today. I'm not a huge fan of Kenny Golladay because he's only played a full 16-game slate once in his career. I worry a little bit about overpaying for a player like that. I want a guy who's more durable. So I think any of those other options, I would even throw in T.Y. Hilton into that mix. I know he's older, but he has a better track record of getting through healthy seasons than Kenny Golladay does. That's the reservation that I have about Golladay. And reportedly, the Giants and the Dolphins are the teams most interested in him, in the Detroit wide receiver who's about to be a free agent officially. And if it becomes like a bidding war, I kind of hope the Giants win it for 2 reasons. The injury stuff with Golladay concerns me. That's number one. And number two, I thought Alan Poupart made an excellent point. He's a bit redundant with Devontae Parker. Like, you talk about 6'4" with fights for 50-50 balls, good catch radius. Like, he essentially is another Devontae Parker, and also another Devontae Parker in terms of not being able to see the field enough. I've got some reservations about Kenny Golladay. I like a lot of those other options, though. And, I'll tell you that I see everyone bringing up, not everyone, because a few people like me, they just want the Dolphins to do something. Like, I just want to know, hey, like Chris Grier, your phone is connected to the internet, right? Like, you have service, the cell tower is not down. Like, you understand you're allowed to now legally tamper before free agency officially opens. And what I see a lot of people on the other side of it, because you have a little bit of PTSD, right? You remember overpaying and regretting what you paid for Mike Wallace. You remember overpaying and potentially regretting, what you paid for Ndamukong Suh. That, oh man, I don't want us to fall into this trap like we've fallen into it too many times, where the Dolphins end up screwing themselves over in free agency by overpaying. So you see people give this blanket quote, right? You see this recycled over and over again. You can't win through free agency. It's a bit of a lazy take, that. You can't win through free agency. It's lazy, and I'll tell you why. The saying should be, you can't win with a bad front office. Because just to say you can't win through free agency, I mean, obviously, you still need to draft well. Obviously, you need a little bit of luck, because people don't want to talk about this, but the teams that win Super Bowls are usually teams that stay relatively healthy, and are usually teams where players can sometimes outperform their potential. Like, oh, such and such guy had a career year. Such and such guy is usually never healthy for 16 games. He was healthy for 16. You need a little bit of luck. You need a front office who knows how to draft. You need a front office who can sprinkle free agents. It's a bit of a lazy take to say you can't win through free agency. Yeah, it is true that the majority of successful front offices in the NFL, and I would describe a successful front office as any front office that's put together a Super Bowl winning team, okay? Successful front offices are usually ones who don't make a ton of big splashes in free agency, but would you say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a bad front office? You look at what they did in free agency last year. Last year in free agency, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers front office, all you guys are saying, well, you don't want to spend big in free agency. That's not how you win. Well, what did Tampa Bay do last year? They go on a spending spree. They bring in Rob Gronkowski, Antonio Brown, and some of these guys are a little bit problematic. Antonio Brown belongs in a rubber room. He belongs in Arkham Asylum. He's crazy. They bring in Leonard Fournette. They brought back Ndamukong Suh. That was his second year with the team, but the first year was a one-year deal. They brought him back, giving him another one-year deal. Yeah. And listen, I know that obviously the Super Bowl doesn't happen if not for this one, but they spent big. They spent more money than other teams, including New England, were willing to pay for a 43-year-old quarterback by the name of Tom Brady. So you can't make this blanket statement saying, Donno, you can't win when you spend big in free agency. I mean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers spent big last year, but they also spent smart, right? You brought in Tom Brady and pieces that he wanted to play with, and things worked out very well for them, okay? So here, though, God, you got to – I hope I'm right about this. I hope I'm right. My other theory about why the Dolphins have been so quiet in free agency – in this legal tampering period. So the Dolphins have some cap space, not a lot, but they are top 10 in the league in cap space. And even, they created more cap space by releasing Kyle Van Noy. They actually created more cap space by the Benardrick McKinney trade. And in upgrading your middle linebacker position, they were able to save $1 million under the cap next year by doing that. So the Dolphins are not in a terrible spot with their cap room. And right now they're doing nothing of note. They're not making any big moves or relatively big moves in free agency, big signings. I can't be the only person who wonders if the Dolphins are taking such a conservative approach sending money in order to save some of that cap space for Deshaun Watson. I mean, I can't be the only person wondering that, right? Because I know that would be a trade, not a free agent signing, but he has a significantly higher cap hit than Tua. So if you were to bring in Watson in a trade with the Houston Texans, and Deshaun, I think he's only owed like $17.9 million for next year, and then the money balloons up over the years. But still, $17.9 million for next year would be a significant space eater in your salary cap next year. I kind of have to wonder if the Dolphins have to be a bit conservative right now, because you need to kind of dip your toes in the water to wonder, hey, if there's a semi-legitimate shot that we can bring in Deshaun Watson, we need to make sure our financial house is in order. Like, we need to make sure we have some cap room to squeeze him in. I have to at least wonder if that's part of the equation here. If the Dolphins are being so fiscally conservative and fiscally responsible during this first wave of free agency, because you need to save part of your budget for what would be a huge splash and more expensive than what you currently have on your roster in a trade. I have to wonder about that. Speaking of quarterback, I'm a little sad today. I knew this was coming. I knew he wasn't staying here. You saw Ryan Fitzpatrick has signed a deal with football team. Ryan Fitzpatrick is now a member of Washington football team. Honestly, I should have seen this coming because he's probably going to head to camp as the starter, as Adam Schefter notes, and is going to have a competition with Taylor Heineke. Because, we had talked over the last couple of weeks about destinations for Fitzpatrick. No team in the league is going to automatically give him their starting job because he is so old. So he was going to have to compete at best wherever he goes. But we were thinking about, go to Denver, compete with Drew Lock. But going to Washington, competing with Taylor Heineke makes a lot of sense. That was a really good spot for Fitz. He signs a one-year deal worth $10 million that could grow to $12 million with incentives. As Adam Schefter notes, he's going to head to camp as the starter with competition from Taylor Heineke. So I'm really happy for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Again, I wasn't expecting him to remain in Miami only because, the Dolphins didn't want to have that weird dynamic again of Fitz breathing down to his neck. But there's got to be an emphasis on the importance of backup quarterback. You've got to find a veteran to fill that role. Tua is still very green, very wet behind the ears, going into his second year, hasn't really proven anything at the NFL level. You need to have a trustworthy, smart clipboard holder backing him up. And I hope Tua can take the next step. I don't want my backup quarterback to have to be somebody who comes in and saves the day. I don't want that. I don't want a closer because I don't want Tua to need a closer. I want Tua to be able to close his own games. But Tua has to improve because you think about it, and I appreciate the hell out of Ryan Fitzpatrick. What a teammate, what a leader, what a respected locker room guy, what a teammate. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick, great job mentoring Tua, and what a great job 2 seasons ago helping the Dolphins win 5 games they had no business winning. I mean, really an impressive 2-year Miami Dolphins career for Fitz. But I hope Tua gets better because Ryan Fitzpatrick, conservatively, if you didn't have him last year, you're winning at least 1 fewer game, if not 2 or 3 fewer games. Because guarantee you, for one, the Dolphins are not winning that Oakland game without Ryan Fitzpatrick, right? Because he was I can't imagine, Tua, who got replaced by Fitz late in that game, making that crazy throw while his head was being ripped off of his shoulders like Fitzpatrick did. And how fitting is this? I don't know. Maybe you knew this. Maybe you didn't, Alex, that the final throw that Ryan Fitzpatrick made in a Dolphins uniform was that very throw, that miraculous completion that he made while his helmet was getting ripped off against Oakland. How fitting is it that was the final throw he makes in a Dolphins uniform?
Fitzmagic, baby.
Yeah.
That's like not that shows not his tenure in Miami, but his whole career. That throw. Like, that's what, but I think he still holds the record for most touchdown passes in Jets history in a single season.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I think he still holds the record for that.
Wow.
Well,
sure as hell Sam Darnold didn't break that.
Yeah, I don't think he broke that. So
I'm sure he still has it.
So imagine that Ryan Fitzpatrick holds that record, a journeyman like that. So, you know what? I'm happy for him. I'm not sad that he left. He's a journeyman. He needs to find the next best contract, the next best situation for him. And if he still thinks that he's a starting caliber quarterback, then good for him, man. I like the confidence. He kind of plays with that constantly. I think that's what gets him through the league, being a player like that. So I'm happy for him. Washington's going to get a steady veteran quarterback. And, yeah, if they're going to the season as the starter, as Ryan Fitzpatrick as the starter, that's not a bad thing. You can go there's a lot more worse options out there.
I'm gonna root for him.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna become a Washington football team fan, but I'm gonna root for Ryan Fitzpatrick. We got our guy Ray in the YouTube chat. Howdy, Donno. Can't wait for Belichick to fall on his face. Good players he got, but meh quarterback. Cam. Desperate Belichick. I put out a Twitter poll. I got to find the tweet during one of the breaks, and we'll check the results. But I put out a Twitter poll for people to react to what Belichick and the Patriots are doing. I don't know what their tally is now. I think even before the latest signing that they got was Hunter Henry, and I think even before that they had shelled out $232 million in contracts, and then you add Henry on top of that. They're going on a spending spree. Like, it's supermarket sweep. And I put out a Twitter poll asking people if they thought Belichick is being smart or being desperate. And last I checked, it was pretty close to 50-50. So I'll have to check on the updated results. But when we come back, going to talk about the hottest damn team in town. Hockey, baby. Hockey. The Florida Panthers win again last night. They come from behind 3-1 to beat the Chicago Blackhawks. Sergei Bobrovsky, I stopped more shot, don't I? I stopped 26 shot last night. Plays so amazingly well, Sergei Bobrovsky. I love it. I love stopping shot. We're going to talk Florida Panthers hockey with David Dwork, who hosts Chirping the Cats here on Onside Radio. So Dave is going to join us next. Florida Panthers fans have a place to call home every Saturday morning as Cats insider Dave Dwork hosts Chirping the Cats Radio every Saturday at 10 a.m. Onside Radio is committed to all sports, and Panthers fans can now connect every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. with David Dwork on the home for Florida Panthers fans worldwide, OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. OnsideRadio.com gives you a ton of options to listen to the station. You can now download free apps from Radio.net, Podbean, and Simple Radio. Download any of these free apps and listen to your favorite Onside host. Visit our website at OnsideRadio.com to find all these links.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty, to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's true hometown station. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. Check this out. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Man, I feel a little disrespected on Twitter. I flexed this morning on Twitter, tweeting out a photo of the NHL Central Division standings with our Florida Panthers sitting atop the table, and this guy I know, Gianni, who knows me from soccer, he tweeted out like a weird emoji saying, "Donno watches hockey now," and I'm like, bro, I worked on the network broadcast for 7 years. Show some respect. Yeah, I watch hockey, and hell, how can I not watch my Florida Panthers who stay red hot? Dave DeWark joins us now, host of Chirping the Cats Radio Saturday mornings here on Onside Radio. Dave, is it a little bit surreal to look at those standings in the National Hockey League and see the Panthers not only leading the division, but one of the two teams with the highest point total in the entire National Hockey League?
Yes, surreal is a great term to use. I mean, as you just said, like you were on the network for almost a decade. You've been following the team down here for much of your life, as most South Florida sports fans have. And, mostly following the Panthers has been an act of futility because the team has just been bad. A few good years sprinkled in, fewer playoff appearances. They haven't advanced in the playoffs since you and I were maybe entering puberty about that time of our lives.
Yeah, I was getting
now
close.
Now we're both losing our hair with kids. So, I mean, it's been a while. And so now to see them at the top of the standings, the cream of the crop of the league, consistent, you can't really pick anything apart with them. Yeah, it's great. And I really hope that not just the South Florida sports fans, but the Panthers fans in particular, the ones that have lived and died with the team throughout all these years, I really hope that they're allowing themselves to enjoy this.
Now, you are a former and even current goalie because you used to play pro and you play recreationally still a little bit, and goalie is your position. So I wanna pick your expertise on this. what's been the difference lately with Sergei Bobrovsky? He had a poor year last season. Obviously, he's a former two-time Vezina Trophy winner, so we know how great he can be. But lately, Bob has reached excellent form. I don't want to hear anybody complaining about giving up 3 goals last night, because at least 2 of those were really on the defense, not on him. Bob has been a lot better for the past month or so, Dave. So what do you think has changed for him?
I think he's just more comfortable. I think everything is just kind of going at Bob's speed and Bob's pace, because last year for Panthers fans was all they knew of Bob. But last year for Bob was just one of a long career for him, and a down year, no doubt. But it wasn't like his career was suddenly done and on the downward spiral. Guys have off years all the time. Now he's bouncing back. He's having a more traditional Bob-like season in which he kind of starts a little bit slow and then gradually picks it up and gains momentum as the year goes on and gets better and better. And that's really what we're seeing, 100%. And more so over the last maybe 4 weeks, he's really turned a corner and taken it to another level. And it's not like he's doing anything differently. If you're looking for like a reason behind it, a new training technique, a different Gatorade he's drinking, no, Bob's a goalie, and goalies, we're very routine oriented. We do things the same way over and over because they work. NHL goalies are definitely locked into their routines because they've worked so well, they've gotten all the way to the NHL. So with Bob, I think he's been living down here for over a year, a year and a half now. He's settled. He knows everything about South Florida that he needs to know. Is the drive is normal. He can do it in his sleep. Like, everything is just routine now. And I'm sure he's just comfortable going to the rink every day, working with the same coaches. He's got all the teammates around him, and you're seeing it on the ice. I mean, he looks so comfortable. You see him smiling when he's out there. He doesn't look stressed out during games. It just looks like a very comfortable Bob, and comfortable Bob is one that's won, 7 games in a row now?
I will take comfortable Bob, and I think he's 12-2-2 now this season. Yeah. I will absolutely take that. Someone else who's having a renaissance year is Aaron Ekblad. He's been absolutely tremendous. I know that there were a couple of years where people kind of wondered, hey, is he as good as we thought he was when he came into the league? He has been absolutely excellent this year, and excellence on the power play especially, Dave. What have you seen from Ekblad's game this season?
Well, Ekblad has just continued to grow and mature. I mean, we've seen since he was a rookie, when he won the Calder Trophy as the NHL's Rookie of the Year, and he was an All-Star his first 2 seasons, we've known that he's got offensive skills, like elite-level offensive skills for a defenseman. But over the last few seasons, his defensive game has gotten better and better and better, to the point where he's now out there going up against opposing teams' top lines every game. That Ekblad-Weegar defensive tandem is out there against the best the opposing teams have to offer, game in and game out. That's your matchup pair. And so not only are they providing that high-end defensive ability, but then both of them, not just Ekblad, both of them are producing offensively. Weegar's getting all of his damage done on even strength. Ekblad's doing it both on the power play and even strength. Now he has 10 goals on the season. I believe he's the 6th Panthers player to reach double-digit goals already at this point of the season. And that's why you're hearing Ekblad's name come up in the Norris Trophy conversation as the top defenseman in the NHL. Will he win it? Probably not. It's his first time, getting in that talk among those guys, but we don't know what's going to happen the second half of the season either. But this is a guy, he was your first overall pick, and he is absolutely playing like a first overall pick. And remember, he's still just, I believe, 26 years old.
Yep.
So his best hockey is still ahead of him.
And as you said it there, 6 Cats in double-digit scoring. Is that one of the biggest surprises for you? Because, this team lost their 2 top goal scorers from last year, and I know that there seemed to be concern, maybe not from your end, of, hey, are they going to lose a lot of goal scoring with Hoffman and Dadonov no longer there? Instead, this team is scoring more than they were scoring a year ago. Does that surprise you?
No, and you can go back to our conversations and things that I wrote, as free agency played out and that the season got started. Like, yes, they were losing Mike Hoffman and Evgeny Dadonov, who were key contributors, but you have to understand they're also bringing guys in to replace them. They brought in Patrick Hornquist. They brought in a Carter Verhaeghe, who was looked at as a high-end scorer that just didn't get the opportunity in Tampa. They replaced a lot of those guys. Instead of that power play now, instead of Dadonov and Hoffman, you're like, oh, what's going to happen on the power play? Well, look at Patrick Hornquist is in front of the net making havoc, doing crazy things. He's already got, I believe, 11 goals on the year. You've got Aaron Ekblad, who was popped into that power play instead, and he's showing off what he can do. It's just a better fit, and I think a lot of that credit has to go to the new GM, Bill Zito. in coming into a situation, kind of getting dropped in feet first in the middle of the fire and responding incredibly well. Every player he's brought in, every move he's made is not only paying dividends, but everybody's producing at a pretty good clip. Whether it's, guys like Patrick Hornquist, Verhage, or you got talking about an Anthony Duclair, you talk about Radko Gudas. Everybody, whether it's on the ice or off the ice, is really contributing. You got to give Bill Zito credit, and you have to think he's going to be under consideration for Executive of the Year when all is said and done.
Yeah, he's got to be. That's a great shout. Dave Dwork joins us. He hosts Chirping the Cats Radio Saturdays 10 to 11 a.m. here at OnsideRadio.com. Dave, it's reached a point where these Panthers, when if they're down in a third period, or in the case of yesterday, they're down 3-1 late in the second period, I don't really worry so much. I'm expecting them to come back, and I have no doubt that this team is going to keep winning because I believe they have the skill and they have the character. But with all the comeback victories that they've had, do they need to maybe try to be a bit more of a front runner? Because if you talk about maybe a regression to the mean or like a statistical aberration, it may not be sustainable to come from behind this many times. Do we need to start seeing them maybe take some 2-0 leads rather than coming back from 2-0 deficits?
Well, sure. Ideally, you want to jump out to a lead and hold it, and that's the recipe for success for every game. And, you ask anybody in that locker room, and they'll tell you, yeah, we want to start better. We don't want to have to do this. But, look, at the end of the day, the fact that they're able to do it over and over, and it's not just like a random thing. It's like, oh, my God, they had this huge comeback last week, the comeback of the season. No, they've had like 4 or 5 of them. Right. That's how good the team is. There's still areas that they need to improve on, but they're still at the level where they can overcome those issues and not only sputter along as they have in the past, but they're overcoming these issues as one of currently the top teams in the NHL. Right now, at this moment, they're tied with the Islanders for the most points in the entire NHL. So, yeah, they have issues that they need to fix, as most teams do, but the talent on this team, the way that they're coached, the way that they're playing, they're able to overcome those issues and still be one of the best teams, and that is a testament not just to the players, but to Joe Quenneville.
I love it. Great stuff here as always. You guys can follow Dave at David Dwork on Twitter. Check out his work, of course, WPLG.com. He hosts the Chirping the Cats podcast, and, of course, you can also hear Chirping the Cats weekly here on Onside Radio, 10 to 11 a.m. on Saturdays. Dave, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your week.
You too, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Awesome. Good stuff there by Dave. And yeah, man, I love and I'm glad we got to pick his brain a little bit on Bob, because that's the position Dave knows best. He's a lifelong goaltender. 844-416-8123 is how you reach us. That's 844-416-8123. Every time I bust out my Bobrovsky, texter always says, "Is that you, Dragic?" You notice, this is Goran Dragic. Yeah, we have a little bit of the same accent. I'm from Slovenia. He's from Russia. We sound a little bit similar there, the Bobrovsky and the Dragic. Yeah. Try not to get them confused, right? If we're talking hockey, we're doing Dragic. When we're talking basketball, we're doing Bob. Just kidding. Obviously, it's the opposite. But fun stuff there in the meantime. Oh, Andy from Scotland is now checking in on the YouTube chat. And it's not as late for you over there now, because usually Scotland is I think 5 hours ahead of us, and we jumped our time forward before they did. So I think it's only 8:30 there, so it's prime time. Hello, Andy from Scotland. And yeah, Andy, you did miss a little bit of a Dolphins segment at 4 o'clock. I know Andy's a big Dolphins fan, but we will circle back to the Dolphins. If probably before this, but if not before this, no later than 5:20. At 5:20, we're going to be joined by Louis Sung from the 5 Reasons Sports Network, who covers Miami Dolphins football. We're going to get into this bit of a quiet patch that the Dolphins are having here in the legal tampering period, while the New England Patriots are out there signing everybody. Now, it is a bit of desperation from Belichick. I give that guy the benefit of the doubt, because he is so good at what he does and he's had so much success. But when you're coming off a disappointing season like the Patriots had and you have a lot of money to spend, there is a little bit of desperation there, okay? When we come back, I want to talk about an interesting casting. The Godfather, the Don, Pat Riley, is going to be a part. Now, not he himself. There's going to be an actor playing him. But Pat Riley will be portrayed in an upcoming HBO series. I'll give you my reaction to the casting, and if we were going to cast Don Shula, who would we cast to play Mr. 347? I want to get you guys' thoughts on that when we return. You're listening to Onside Radio. Hey, start your morning every day, 8 a.m. with 4th and 20 with Toast and Marsh. The boys cover all the local sports stories while providing some great Miami Hurricanes insight. Download, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. 4th and 20, 8 to 10 a.m. only at OnsideRadio.com.
The man of the match with South Florida's own Alex Donno. Weekdays 1 to 5 p.m. on the home for Inter-Miami football. OnsideRadio.com.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Get the brutal honesty every day with the Onside Zone with a big O from 12 noon to 3 p.m. every weekday on your home for sports talk in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
The Florida Panthers now sit at the top of the Central Division after beating the Chicago Blackhawks last night 6-3. Alexander Barkov led the way for the Panthers with a goal and 2 assists. The Cats have the next couple of days off, but are back on the ice Thursday night against the Nashville Predators at the BB&T Center. Puck drops at 7 p.m. The Miami Heat look to make it 5 wins in a row tonight as they take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Bam Adebayo is expected to play tonight after missing the last 4 games. Tip-off is at the AAA at 8 p.m. The Miami Marlins take on the Washington Nationals later today. It will be a lefty showdown as Trevor Rogers will be starting for the Fish against Patrick Corbin for the Nationals. First pitch is at 6:05. With your Onside Sports update, I'm Alex Aguirre, and coming up next, it's more of Man of the Match with Alex Donno, and Game Night with Michael Christian is right after at 6 p.m. You are listening to the only locally owned sports station in South Florida, OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
This is interesting. I saw Jeremy Taché retweet this, a story about this a couple of hours ago, and I said, I've got to put this in my show notes. HBO is working on a series about the 80s Lakers, the Showtime Lakers, and so Pat Riley, of course, is going to be portrayed in the show. I would imagine the likes of Magic Johnson as well. I don't know all the castings, but I did see that for this show about the 80s Lakers, and it's going to be on HBO, so it's probably going to be pretty good. I mean, there aren't a lot of duds on HBO, right? You could debate some shows are better than others. I hated the way Game of Thrones ended, but HBO kicks ass, man. Sopranos, The Wire, like the first 5 seasons of Game of Thrones, Deadwood, 6 Feet Under. I mean, some of the best shows ever have been on HBO. It's an excellent network, and they're probably more than likely going to do good stuff with a show about the Showtime Lakers. Here's the casting for Pat Riley. Adrian Brody. Adrian Brody is going to play Pat Riley, and like they had a photo of him in the story from Entertainment Weekly, and it shows Brody with his hair slicked back. And then they had the comparison shot of Riley in the 80s, back when Riley's hair was dark, like brown, black hair, like blackish hair before he went gray. And I got to tell you, I saw some resemblance there, like seeing Adrian Brody's hair slicked back. They sold it to me as he can play Pat. Now, it's funny because you see a lot of the comments the Heat fans were leaving. This doesn't really surprise me because Pat Riley is such an icon who is one of the most beloved figures in South Florida that anybody you would cast to play him, a bunch of people are going to have an issue with it just because Riley is a god, right? It's very hard to portray a god, right? A mythical figure like Riley. Like some hardcore Heat fans would have a problem with anybody that they would cast in the role to play Riley. But I see some of these people that are like, oh, Adrian Brody, this is awful. Like, put some respect on Adrian Brody's name. The guy won an Academy Award. I mean, Alex, if I'm going to trust somebody to portray Pat Riley, you could do worse than an Academy Award winner. I mean, Adrian Brody was the pianist. And even more recently, for, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, on the show Peaky Blinders, which I love that show. He was in a season of Peaky Blinders where he portrayed the villain, and he was good, man. Adrian Brody can act. Let Adrian Brody cook. You don't need to complain about Adrian Brody. I mean, Alex, you love Pat Riley as much as I do, but can't you step back and say, I will allow an Academy Award winner the opportunity to portray Pat Riley?
Yeah, of course. Like, there's a reason why we're here and not working for Hollywood and for a studio.
Yeah,
they must know something they must know something that we don't know. So I really haven't seen much of Brody's work. I know, I've seen The Pianist.
Yeah,
and I know he was in a King Kong. He was in the King Kong movie, right, with Jack Black, like in the early 2000s.
He's made some stinkers.
Yeah, that was a stinker. Yeah, I was like, that was one of the good King Kong movies.
You know, it's funny you say that because. So I can remember. I don't know. Probably about 10 years ago, this movie came out. I went with. You guys may remember because he used to work in South Florida radio, for those who have been listening for years, Mike Marchant. So Mike Marchant and I, when we used to work together on the George Sedano show, this had to have been like 2009 or 2010. We used to get sometimes passes to go see early screenings of movies because, so that's like one of the perks that media members can get is you can go to like press screenings. I don't think they're doing those right now because of the pandemic, but I haven't been to one in years, but I used to sometimes go to press screenings. And Mike Marchant and I, about a decade ago, we went to a press screening of the movie Predators, which was, there have been like 100 sequels to the movie Predator, but there was one that came out about 10 years ago that starred Adrian Brody. And the movie was kind of a piece of shit, right? And so the funny thing was that Mike Marchant and I are sitting and we're watching this movie, Predators, and like 45, 50 minutes into the movie, and the movie wasn't good. And Adrian Brody starred in the movie, and Marchant looks over at me and says, I can't believe this guy was the pianist. Look at him now. Like, that was just so funny because he's thinking like, dude, 8 years ago this guy won an Academy Award, and now he's in Predators. I hope he fired his agent. I mean, I don't know how you parlay at 29 years old you're winning Best Actor for The Pianist, and then at 37 years old you're in like a movie that probably got like a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know how he got to that point, but so he's made some questionable career choices, no doubt. But I'm gonna give Adrian Brody a shot to play Pat Riley in the HBO series. And this got me thinking, right? If we do more sports series, God, I hope that they someday make a 72 Dolphins series. I feel like that era is not respected enough because, like, the generation has kind of turned past it, unfortunately. Whereas the Showtime Lakers, I think, are still a bit of, like, a cultural topic, where the 72 Dolphins, unfortunately, I don't think they get enough respect in the pop culture world. But if we were going to do a show on HBO and we're casting Don Shula, who would you trust to play the legend, the icon that is Coach Shula? May he rest in peace. Some of the suggestions that I got on Twitter for this, a couple people said Martin Sheen, but you're thinking old Shula. Like, I'm talking about Shula like when he's in his 40s, not Shula in his 80s. Like, I mean, Martin Sheen is very old. Like, you got to think young Shula, okay? And then somebody suggested Charlie Sheen. You know, Charlie Sheen, like, he lost his marbles. He used to be a good actor. Like, the guy was in Platoon. Like, he used to be a good actor before he completely lost his mind. But no, I don't want Charlie Sheen playing I don't want Charlie playing Don Shula.
Shula does not have tiger blood, unfortunately.
Or Adonis DNA.
No.
Shula deserves better. I thought the best suggestion that came in, but this guy might be a little pricey, Leonardo DiCaprio. I would trust Leo to play. I would trust Leo to play me. They're going to make a movie about me. I'd say DiCaprio, have at, okay? Somebody else suggested, and again, this would be for older Shula, so I think people are kind of missing. Like, we're casting 72 Shula. Somebody suggested Ed Harris. He's a little on the older end, guys. Ryan Gosling was suggested. You know, he's probably the only person who's almost as good looking as Coach Shula in his prime. Matt Damon was. I don't see it. I mean, good actor, but I don't see it with Matt Damon. This one was kind of interesting. There's not a whole lot of resemblance, but as far as like the whole, I don't know. I feel like he could kind of pull off like the spirit of Shula. John Hamm, Don Draper from Mad Men. I don't know. I wouldn't mind that. So send in your suggestions, 844-416-8123.
How about Bradley Cooper?
You know, that's not a bad idea. And
I'm
he's got range.
At the photos right now on the computer. Young Shula. Because he has his hair kind of slicked back like Bradley Cooper.
And nobody suggested that. That's good. I like Bradley Cooper.
Both got really big like jaw lines. You know, it's very defined jaw lines.
Yes.
They both have that, you know.
And that's a good point.
That's my pick.
Yeah, because if you were going to make DiCaprio into Shula, like, you would have to give him a prosthetic jaw. Like, you would have to do, whereas Bradley Cooper, you wouldn't have to do a whole lot. That might be the winner there. That might be the winner. Tony Two Times says Adrian Brody's absolute best film was when he played the punk rocker from the Bronx, Richie, in Summer of Sam. That movie's so legit. I've never seen it, and I remember the trailers for Summer of Sam when that movie came out. I don't know why I never watched. I've got to get on that. You reminded me of that. Summer of Sam. Wasn't that with was John Leguizamo in that, I think, as well? Yeah, I remember that film. I never saw it. Andy from Scotland, he likes DiCaprio. Good one. I mean, DiCaprio could play anybody. Oh, how about when you talk about range? Again, I don't see the resemblance here, but the guy played Dick freaking Cheney. Like, Christian Bale. Christian Bale could pull it off. I mean, you wouldn't look at Christian Bale and say, you're my Dick Cheney, right? So you look at Christian Bale, you could say, hey, I can make you look like Shula, and you could do it. It's a hell of an actor. Yeah, Rafa in Miami says Christian Bale all the way. And Rafa, we welcome him into the chat room as well, so we're kicking it up into high gear. As soon as we get Kenneth Cleveland in here, then it's a party. Once we open up the Boom Boom Room, then we can really get the party started. 844-416-8123 is how you hit us up on the text line. That's 844-416-8123. So congratulations to the Florida Panthers for getting it done. By the way, I want to get to this on the other side when we wrap up the 4 o'clock hour. There's this one reporter who's so good, he's breaking news for sports that he doesn't cover. I'm very impressed by something that happened yesterday. Hey, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m., Sean Stanley hosts Squared Circle Digest. Now, wrestling fans have a place to call home as Sean covers the very colorful world of wrestling. Tune in every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on the home for sports fans worldwide, OnSideRadio.com.
The man of the match with South Florida's own Alex Donno. Weekdays 1 to 5 p.m. on the home for Inter Miami football. OnSideRadio.com.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now, it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common, preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com, broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, welcome back into Man of the Match with Alex Donno, broadcasting live inside the beautiful Inter Miami CF Stadium. Look at those pink, black, gray, and white seats off in the distance, kissing the horizon, the Fort Lauderdale skyline, partly cloudy skies today. We appreciate everyone who joins us here, whether you're listening on OnSideRadio.com or you're listening through one of the free mobile apps. You don't have to pay a cent to listen to this show or any of the great shows on OnSideRadio.com. You can listen to us on the MyTuner Radio app, the Radio FM app, Simple Radio, Podbean, and you can stream video and audio live on YouTube and on Twitch as well. And the YouTube is a lot of fun because we can all get involved on the YouTube live chat. So that's working pretty well here. This is pretty amazing. This guy is kicking so much ass in reporting that he's reporting on sports he doesn't even cover. You know who broke the news of Jameis Winston signing a new deal with the Saints? Shams Charania. How is that a shams bomb? This is the guy who should be, who should be reporting on whether LaMarcus Aldridge is going to get bought out or not, and he's actually breaking NFL news. He tweeted out last night, breaking NFL free agency news, free agent quarterback Jameis Winston has agreed to a deal to re-sign with the New Orleans Saints per sources. And I think it was Ian Rappaport who jokingly said to him, stick to basketball. But yeah, he confirmed the report. It is correct. And Adam Schefter confirmed the report and tweeted out that it's a one-year deal worth $12 million. So I've got a lot of respect for Shams. And I'd forgotten about this going back to the draft last year, that Shams was, I think, the first person to report that the Dolphins were drafting Tua Tagovailoa at number 5 overall, that he had that before anyone. So this guy has so many sources that sometimes people just send him NFL news for no particular reason. Like, can you imagine being that well connected? Like, that's the guy that people go to say, hey, this is a free agent signing coming, or this is a trade that's coming in the NBA, and then sometimes they'll give him NFL news as well for the hell of it. So very, very well done by Shams Charania, who was the first to report about Jameis Winston signing a new deal with the New Orleans Saints. Man, that is tremendous stuff by him. So, we've been watching the quiet free agent period so far for the Miami Dolphins. I want to get more into this in the 5 o'clock hour. Why, the Dolphins are taking more of a conservative approach. I want to read some of what our friend Kyle Krabs had to say about it at dolphinswire.com. And remember, Kyle joins us every Thursday around 3:30 p.m. Omar Kelly joins us every Friday. So we always give you a lot of Dolphins talk. And at 5:20 today, we're going to talk with Louis Sung from the 5 Reasons Sports Network. So we're going to cover plenty of Miami Dolphins football. But I want to give a fresh perspective on what we refer to as the new normal for the Miami Dolphins front office. So, yeah, keep us locked on YouTube, on Twitch. You can text us at 844-416-8123. We got Alex Aguirre riding shotgun. We take you up for a little more than another hour until Michael Christian takes over for game night. Keep it locked here to Onside Radio. Hey, Sundays, OnsideRadio.com continues to provide you the kind of sports talk South Florida fans desire. Every Sunday at 7 a.m., tune into the Sunday Sports Drop with Jazz Santana. Catch Jazz every week as he takes your calls and discusses the biggest stories in sports. That's the Sunday Sports Drop, 7 to 9 a.m., exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Hey everybody, it's Good Greek Moving and Storage, and for over 2 decades, they've been entrusted to handle all of your moving and storage needs. And now, Good Greek is the official mover of Inter Miami CF. And if Inter Miami trusts the Good Greek, you should too. For the best move ever, whether it's across town or across the country, go to GreekMoving.com. That's GreekMoving.com for Good Greek Moving and Storage, the official movers of your Inter Miami CF.
Miami Dolphins fans can always count on the best coverage at OnsideRadio.com. Every week, keep up with your favorite team as Dolphins writer Omar Kelly joins us with exclusive reports. And when news breaks, catch the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins report on the home for Dolphins fans everywhere, OnsideRadio.com. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, 5 o'clock hour of Man of the Match on Onside Radio. I'm Alex Donno, taking you up until 6 o'clock here, OnsideRadio.com, or stream us live on YouTube. Always having fun on the YouTube chat. 844-416-8123 is how you text us, 844-416-8123. On the quiet start to free agency, Andy from Scotland says, it's definitely a new culture for the Dolphins. No leaks, as used to be so common. Yeah, I did see a report a couple days ago that, a lot of the free agent, I don't think the players themselves, but the agents of free agents that the Dolphins were reaching out to were really sworn to secrecy about the contact being made. So the Dolphins really are serious about keeping things close to the vest. Kyle Krabs writes, there was some frustration among Dolphins fans that the team was not more active in, quote-unquote, providing help to young quarterback Tua Tagovailoa on day one of the legal tampering period. But the big picture view shows Miami is committed to learning from the sins of their past. Miami has been so influenced with winning in a timely manner under past regimes that all they've been able to do is spin their tires as they've tried to climb into position to contend. And with the team actually on the cusp of developing into the kind of contender this franchise could have only dreamed about in the first decade of direction under team owner Stephen Ross, the 2021 offseason served as the ultimate test. Could the Dolphins resist temptation, he writes? It appears as though they have. A report from Barry Jackson of the Herald indicated that Miami is still looking to make a splash at wide receiver, but the team is otherwise interested in Tier 2 and Tier 3 free agents. And in case we did read this earlier, but Barry Jackson tweeted, Dolphins have made clear in contact with some agents that they are looking for value signings. That doesn't preclude one splashy signing, of course, but they've called today on multiple second, third tier players at need positions who could come cheaply. Kyle Krabs writes, this approach is a new one for the Dolphin fans to process, as was evidenced by the negativity on social media, and by the way, I was responsible for some of that, about Miami's quiet start to the process. But if the definition of insanity is doing the same thing repeatedly and expecting different results, Miami's calculated approach to their salary cap space and willingness to shop for bargains and allow some hits to materialize as a result is a far departure from the last decade of Dolphins football. A little boring, perhaps, but as Dolphin fans know all too well, a sexy week in March is often not what winners in January are made of. And that's comforting. I admitted to you guys back in the 3 o'clock hour, I need therapy on this, okay? I suffer from free agency FOMO, fear of missing out. I'm suffering, 36 hours into the legal tampering period, I am suffering from boredom. I'm looking out at the New England Patriots signing everyone with a pulse and signing some good players, mind you. I really love what the Pats are doing with the tight end position, especially. Thankfully they don't have a better quarterback to throw the football. Although you got to think, stocking up with tight ends, bringing in Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, both of which I have a lot of respect for, having competent pass-catching tight ends, that can help make your old, washed-up, inaccurate quarterback look better, right? Like, if there's anything that could actually make 2021 Cam Newton look more like 2018 Cam Newton, it's having a couple of really solid tight ends to throw the football to. So that they're going to make him look a little bit better, I think. I'm still, though, relieved to look at the Patriots and say, okay, the guy penciled in to be their starting quarterback is the same guy who looked like a cadaver last year, talking about Newton. The wild card would be, do the Patriots get their quarterback of the future in this draft? It's going to be difficult for them, but Mac Jones might end up being the guy. I mean, we talk so much about how Mac Jones is the next Tom Brady. Well, don't you think Bill Belichick would want to go out and get Tom Brady 2.0 after winning 6 rings with Tom Brady 1.0? So, and I like Mac, and he's been rising up a lot of the draft boards, right? I mean, he's one of those guys who is looking like he's going to be sought after a lot more in April than we thought in January, and he might seem like a nice fit for the Patriots to kind of be the quarterback of their next generation. So I hope he doesn't end up landing there in New England. I hope he goes off the board before their pick comes up. But in the short term, Cam Newton's going to be their guy. And I think every Dolphin fan has to hope, is the Patriots had a lot of money to spend and come off a really bad year, so it's made them a little bit desperate to spend and make flashy signings, that the signings they're making can only take them so far when their quarterback is a shell of his former self. So we've got a window here. Like the Dolphins, and obviously the Bills are really good right now, which is unfortunate for us, but the Dolphins have a window where the Patriots are still going to be recovering and rebuilding. But yeah, apparently that's the new normal. Apparently the Dolphins being more reserved and more conservative in free agency is going to be the norm rather than the splashes that this team has been making in recent years. But you know what? If resisting the temptation means we're not going to get sidled with an overpriced Mike Wallace or sidled with good player, but we paid too much for him in Ndamukong Suh. You know, the Dolphins have made some desperate trades as well over the years. Brandon Marshall, like you've been sidled with good players who you overpaid for in the past. I don't want to see that happening with the Dolphins this year, but my mind starts to wonder, right? I can't help but think that there may be an outside chance that one of the reasons why the Dolphins have to be conservative with their spending and maintain some cap room is if there's any possibility of acquiring Deshaun Watson, who's going to be, next season about a little under $18 million against the salary cap, and that price is going to go up over the following years. You know, you'd be adding a big expensive addition if you were to go out and make that deal for Deshaun Watson. I wonder if that's part of the reason why the Dolphins have to maintain so much flexibility under the cap is you're telling me there's a chance, right? If there's any shot that the Dolphins can swing a move for Deshaun. And I understand that for the time being, the Houston Texans are not picking up the phone, right? For the time being, they've been telling everyone, don't call us. Don't bother. He's not for sale. He's not on the market. This is our quarterback. They lie to your face. Oh, he's happy to be a Houston Texan. They threw David Culley, their head coach, to the media last week like a sacrificial lamb. I feel bad for that guy. He has nothing to do with why Deshaun Watson is unhappy there because Watson's, beef with the organization predates Culley and it predates Nick Caserio. And then David Culley has to go out there and pretend everything's fine. And he sounds like a damn buffoon. Like they put him in that position. Management put him in that position to make him go out there and be a sacrificial lamb discussing with the media. And, we're still over a month away from the draft. Things could change. But for the time being, they're not picking up the phone. They're not talking Watson. But as we noted, with the Dolphins having over the weekend pulled off the Benardrick-McKinney trade with the Houston Texans, that to me is a good sign. You could say this has nothing to do with a potential Watson deal. I think, though, it's a good sign because it shows you that there's still good relationship between the two franchises, that they still have the channels open to make trades, and that even happens with the change of GM, right? Because when they made the Laramie Tunsil deal, that was Bill O'Brien. Now it's Nick Caserio. Caserio being a former Patriots guy. I would imagine he has a pretty good rapport and relationship with Brian Flores because they work together in New England. But it goes to show you there's still a trade channel open between those two organizations. And if Chris Grier is doing his job properly, and I think he is, I think he's doing a good job, you bet your ass when Chris Grier is dealing with Caserio to fine-tune the Shaq Lawson, Benardrick-McKinney trade, he's got him on the phone or he's got him in a Zoom meeting. They actually have some FaceTime. They're talking to one another. It would stand to reason that Chris Grier can drop in, hey, by the way, if you're ever interested in talking about Deshaun Watson, just know we'd love to chat and you know where to find me. So he gets to get his he gets to whisper in Caserio's ear a little bit. So I think the fact that these franchises still have a good relationship when it comes to talking, open lines of communication, making trades, I think that would be a good sign that if Watson does become available, that the Houston Texans would be willing to chat with the Dolphins because they have channels open and they have a good relationship. So you could say one has nothing to do with the other, but I don't believe that. I believe that there could be correlation there. By the way, you would expect the Dolphins are going to come out of free agency with something at wide receiver, something, okay? I think they're going to draft a receiver or two. I think they're also going to sign receivers. Barry Jackson tweeted out something that actually makes me feel pretty good. If the wide receiver market remains this deflated, some really good players are not getting the money they want. Dolphins have the option of signing 2 at below market prices and using number 3 pick on elite tight end Pitts in a no trade down scenario. Outside of the box, but worth consideration. And Diana Rossini from ESPN tweeted out today, just spoke to a free agent wide receiver to find out what's going on with all the receivers still unsigned. He said, quote, the wide receiver market is really bad right now. I love that, right? The pass rusher market was lit. Tight end market, thanks Patriots, has been lit. But the wide receiver market has been super, super quiet. Now, Andy Stapleton of The Record reported that the Dolphins and New York Giants, quote, were believed to be 2 of the most interested suitors for Kenny Golladay from Detroit. Stapleton noted that other teams could get involved, especially after ESPN's Adam Schefter reported the New York Jets already agreed to a deal with wide receiver Corey Davis. Playing for either the Giants or Dolphins would give Kenny Golladay an opportunity to suit up in a major market and make an immediate impact on teams that could use the wide receiver help. I like Golladay, and I hope that with the wide receiver market being so quiet that you could end up, if you do sign him, you sign him at a little bit of a discount. But Golladay concerns me a little bit because of his injury history. He's only gotten through a 16-game season once. He only played 5 games last year. And I thought Alan Poupart from Sports Illustrated noted correctly on this station earlier today with Big O that he's physicality-wise, he's a bit redundant with Devontae Parker. So maybe, I don't know, to me, the Golladay signing wouldn't make as much sense. I actually prefer Marvin Jones, and I even like T.Y. Hilton, who would come at certainly a cheaper price as he's a little bit older. I think that would make a lot of sense for the Dolphins. So you certainly have options. And then, of course, that I like the wide receiver market in the draft. But I got to tell you, I get tempted by Kyle Pitts. I get really tempted. I was having a discussion on Twitter today with someone who thought, Kyle Pitts would be a really bad idea because he's redundant with Mike Gesicki. You don't need another pass-catching tight end. In theory, you're not wrong, but I think in this case you're wrong because Kyle Pitts is that special. First of all, if you do line them both up in the same formation, it's mismatch heaven for your offense. I mean, the 2 of them, especially Pitts, who I think has potential to be a Hall of Fame player. He's that good. Pitts and Gesicki on the same field in the same formation is a nightmare. I mean, you think about what the Patriots used to have with Gronk and the killer Aaron Hernandez, the murderer, and then now what the Patriots are trying to build again here with Jonnu Smith and with Hunter Henry. Like we've seen success, and obviously Brian Flores, he's a defensive guy, but he comes from that Belichickian coaching tree, so he may have similar ideas. You've seen how having 2 pass-catching tight ends can create mismatches, and there's flexibility there with both Golladay and Gesicki because you can line them up wide. Like, Kyle Pitts, I think I said Golladay by accident. I meant Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts and Gesicki, you can line both of them up wide because Kyle Pitts really is like a glorified, super tall, super physical wide receiver when you break it down. So you're kind of getting a receiver tight end hybrid. So I would actually like that. 3 weeks ago, I probably wouldn't have entertained the thought as much. But as Kyle Pitts gets more and more exposure and he's rising up the draft boards, I'm really warming up to the idea of what it would be like to have Kyle Pitts in this Dolphins offense. And I must have missed this. Thank you, Gus. Marvin Jones just signed with the Jaguars. Ooh, my apologies. I missed that one. I'm glad you brought that to my attention here. So that's another fewer option at wide receiver for the Dolphins as the wide receiver market is heating up a little bit. And Andy Dalton to the Bears. Oh, my God. Oh, hey, do you have, Alex, I used this when Tito was in on Terrible Take Tuesday. This audio, I can send it to you later if you don't have it up there, from Mike Tannenbaum on ESPN. He said the only 2 options that the Bears had at quarterback was to either beg Andrew Luck to come out of retirement or to acquire Sam Darnold from the Jets. And now they go with the Red Rifle. 1 year, $10 million deal with the Chicago Bears. The former Cowboys and Bengals quarterback agreed to a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Bears. Adam Schefter of ESPN reports he has a chance to earn another $3 million in incentives. The deal is the same as the one Ryan Fitzpatrick agreed to with Washington football team last night. Dalton will join Nick Foles in competition for the starting job in Chicago. God, that's a terrible quarterback situation. Dalton started 9 of the 11 games he played for Dallas last season, completing 64.9% of his passes while throwing for 2,170 yards, 14 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Dak Prescott was lost for the season in Week 5. Dalton, 33, previously spent 9 seasons in Cincinnati and earned 3 Pro Bowls. So, wow, Andy Dalton is heading to the Chicago Bears. God, Bears fans, so boring. So I appreciate the texter for pointing out the Marvin Jones deal. We're going to talk with Louis Sung from the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Talk some Dolphins with him when we return. 844-416-8123 is how you reach us. That's 844-416-8123. Ooh, and Rafa points out Tyrod Taylor signs a 1-year deal worth up to $12 million a year with the Houston Texans. Ooh, are they preparing? Well, they didn't have any quarterback outside of Deshaun. I think that was the only quarterback they had under contract. So this doesn't necessarily prove anything because he could be easily the backup. But I like the way you think, Rafa. I like the way you think. Is this clearing the run? I don't think so because, again, they only had one quarterback under contract. But, man, I'd like to think that, they're preparing for life after Deshaun Watson. But, no, I mean, if Deshaun Watson is not their starting quarterback next year, it's going to be whoever they acquire in a trade or whatever draft pick they acquire, they're going to build around. So that doesn't necessarily say anything. We'll talk some Dolphins football when we come back. Hey, Sundays, OnSideRadio.com continues to provide you the kind of sports talk South Florida fans desire. Every Sunday at 7 a.m., tune into the Sunday Sports Drop with Jazz Santana. Catch Jazz every week as he takes your calls and discusses the biggest stories in sports. That's the Sunday Sports Drop, 7 to 9 a.m., exclusively at OnSideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Listen to OnSideRadio.com anywhere by downloading the MyTuner Radio app in your app store. Or go to MyTunerRadio.com on your web browser. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida sports leader.
Hello, Inter Miami CF fans! Download the Drink AR app and play inside a first-of-its-kind virtual soccer stadium, hosted by Bodega Trevento and Inter Miami CF, and celebrate your passion for soccer from the comfort of your own home. Find the download links on our Instagram account at Treventus and get our wines delivered straight to your home with a discount for all Inter Miami CF fans. Discover Trevento, a shared passion.
Let's raise a cup to the first among us who put themselves last. To the risk takers, the mask makers, the heroes on the front line and online. To the ones keeping shelves full and keeping us hopeful. To those who don't stop and those making all the stops. To the ones who pick up, suit up, and never let us down. From all of us at Dunkin' to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental disorder that requires a comprehensive approach to treatment. Learn more at moretoadhd.com. This message brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, our next guest is the owner of Fin Maniacs, contributor for 5reasonsports.com, and we always love talking to him. Louis Sung joins us here on Onside Radio. Good afternoon, Louis. How's your Tuesday treating you, man? How are you?
It's been a very good day, I think. Finally got some time to just sit back, relax, and watch as everybody scrambles to see when the Dolphins are going to trade for Deshaun Watson, because that's the only thing anybody seems to care about nowadays.
Well, and on that note, the Texans are signing Tyrod Taylor. Now, I would look and say, well, hey, the only quarterback they have under contract now is Deshaun Watson. So to me, signing Tyrod Taylor doesn't mean anything, but people are reading into it. Like, do you think that signing Tyrod Taylor has any indication whatsoever about whether or not they're going to trade Deshaun Watson, in your opinion?
No. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this out loud. You guys have Juan. He has his own show over there at Onside Radio as well. And the fact that literally everything that the Texans do is kind of driving me up a wall, because everything he's like the guy who like connects all the dots in the conspiracy theorist board about how this all makes sense for Deshaun Watson to Miami. The Miami Dolphins, as far as I'm concerned, have shown zero indication that they have any interest in Watson. Even the people who were initially pushing the whole Watson is interested in Miami thing, they've even gone quiet all of a sudden. And with all the rumors and all the reports that have been coming out about this player being interested here and there and everywhere, you would think that there would be something that says, hey, guess what? The Texans have received calls from Miami. They're seeing what they can work out, if anything at all. But it's just been complete radio silence. And that just tells me that we are really making a mountain out of a molehill, and I think we need to focus on more important things, like how are we going to handle what cap room we do have to build around the guy who's already in the building.
Well, let's focus on that, because I mentioned earlier that I try to be rational when I can, and I don't want the team to be stupid and overpay. But I also can suffer from free agency FOMO, fear of missing out, and I can suffer from boredom. And the Dolphins have been very quiet so far, Louis. What do you think the game plan is, and do you like this approach? Because, in years past, they've not been so conservative in free agency. Do you like the fact that they're being a lot more measured?
I like that they're more measured. That doesn't mean that I necessarily want them to just sit on their laurels and do nothing at the same time. I feel like there needs to be some sort of a balance achieved here. For instance, if you're going to go and grab somebody, then I would go ahead and just wait around and see what happens, because this first wave of free agency is all the guys who have been sitting around waiting already. Mm-hmm. Teams still have more cuts to make. Teams still have more salary cap to make for other guys that they want, who they feel are better fits. For instance, we just saw the Raiders center. He got cut for, apparently he just wanted out of there already. We didn't even know that guy was going to come available. And so all of a sudden, we're looking at this guy, because we know Miami needs a center, because Ted Karras isn't even there. The only one on the roster is Michael Dieter, who was, he's getting there. I hope he's getting there anyway. But you have an opportunity now at somebody that we didn't know he was going to be. We were hearing that the Dolphins were interested in the former Patriots center. I think his name is David Andrews, right?
Yes, that's right.
And so, yes, and now all of a sudden we're quiet on that. Why? Is it because we're suddenly looking at, hold on just a minute here. We have a potential all-pro center who's available, who, he's a little on the older side, but he would immediately make a huge impact for that young offensive line and give Tua a very, very strong center to work with. So by taking the patient approach, Miami is looking and seeing, okay, so these are all the guys they didn't want to get rid of, but they kind of had no choice in the matter. Because the first wave is cast-offs. The second wave is we didn't want to do it, but we didn't have a choice type of thing.
Yeah, no, fair enough. We're joined here by Louis Sung from the 5 Reasons Sports Network and Fin Maniacs. He joins us here on Onside Radio. So, wide receiver, is that something you expect the Dolphins to address here in free agency? And who do you like out of the crop that's available? And what's your opinion on Kenny Golladay? Because I think, to me, could be a little bit of a risk with his injury history.
For me, Golladay is not about whether he's injured or not. We've dealt with players who have injury history. My issue with Golladay is that he once again fits the same mold that Miami already has in abundance. Devontae Parker, big-bodied, go up and get it, physical receiver. And when I say physical, I don't mean that Parker pushes people around, but more like he has to fight for the football. Preston Williams, same type of receiver. Again, he's the guy who has to fight for the ball. He's not going to manage to be slick about his route running, and he's going to just run open by getting away from his corner. So Golladay, while admittedly better than both Parker and Williams, he still plays the same role. It's the same argument I had against the whole Allen Robinson thing. It's like you have this guy who's really good, but he does the same things that Parker does. So if Miami is looking for somebody in free agency, they should be looking along the lines of a Curtis Samuel, somebody who can use, route running, speed to be able to get away from defenders. But now this is where things get interesting. Because if you look at the Miami Dolphins roster as it stands right now, and I've been pounding the table for this for a while now, and it baffles me that so many people disagree with the mindset because of the fact that he sat out the year. Albert Wilson is still on the roster. He wasn't hurt in 2020. He just decided that he didn't want to run the risk of COVID. So it's not like he's been sitting around healing from an injury. He's been there. He's there. He's fine. And so if I'm Miami, he's got a 1-year, $3 million deal still. Remember, he restructured his contract, so we're not even paying a lot for him.
Yeah.
What do you have to lose by letting him go into training camp and letting him have an opportunity to remind everybody, hey, I'm still pretty darn fast. I can still make separation. I can still make plays. So I'm not even sure that the need is as big of a need as we think it is. If Miami had Albert Wilson last season, what might it have all looked like? We'll never know, but we have an opportunity to find out now. I still think they'll look at somebody, but it's going to be at their price. And that's the biggest thing. And I think that's why people are frustrated, because you're not overpaying, because you're not going to just give in to the agent's demands. That's why Miami's not signing people. They're going to be giving out offers that says, this is what we're willing to give. Are you willing to accept it? If the agent says no, Miami moves on. They have other opportunities coming up in the draft. They still have the Jamar Chase argument. They still have the Devonta Smith. They still have the Jalen Waddle. And any one of those guys would immediately make a huge impact. And this is a very, very deep wide receiver class in this upcoming draft. There is no urgency to grab somebody off the street. They can easily recharge their wide receiver core just by spending a first-round pick and maybe even a third or fourth rounder later.
I love it. Louis Sung joins us here on Onside Radio. Now, there is a team in the division in the AFC East who is spending money on anybody and everybody, and I think they have made some good additions, and maybe some not as great and overpaying, yes. But how do you feel about what the Patriots are doing? Does this to you, do you give Belichick always the benefit of the doubt, or do you say this reeks of desperation?
This reeks of a scorned lover trying to get back at his ex. This is what that feels like, quite frankly. It's like Tom Brady went to the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl without him, and now Belichick is doing everything he can to be like, oh, yeah, well, watch this. And he knows that the crew that he's got isn't going to cut it. Like, I know they're just like Miami, they're going to be getting a lot of players that sat out because of COVID reasons. But at the same time, Devon Godshaw, I love the dude, don't get me wrong, but he's not exactly a game-changing player.
Yeah.
You have Jonnu Smith, okay. You have Hunter Henry, okay. Neither of those guys are the Gronk and Hernandez duo that they had back in their glory days, so, okay. And, of course, you went back and you brought back Cam Newton. I mean, all due respect to Cam's legacy, he's not the guy he was back in his prime in Carolina. You can tell just by watching the guy that he's not the same guy. So if you're putting all your eggs in the Cam Newton basket, which it doesn't even feel like they are, because another 1-year deal, that doesn't really say much. So all I'm saying is that I'm not really all that concerned about New England right now. We'll see how he manages to put the team all together, but they didn't have a great season last year with Cam. I'm not going to expect a better season this year out of Cam either.
By the way, this is hot off the press, man. Schefter tweeted this out about 90 seconds ago. Former Colts quarterback Jacoby Brissett has reached agreement to a one-year deal with the Miami Dolphins. He doesn't have yet the terms for the deal, but how about that? Jacoby Brissett coming in. Now, as we can probably assume Tua's going to be the starter. Lewis, how do you feel about this for backup? Because, yeah, I like the idea of having a capable and veteran backup. What do you think about Brissett?
They needed a veteran quarterback. I'm not of the mindset that you back up one young guy with another young guy. Yep. You need to have somebody with experience in this NFL, because if you have your young guy get hurt, then you're going to be You're going to throw Reed Sinnett out there? You're going to go grab Jake Rudock off the street for the 80th time? No. If these Dolphins want to compete, which this 2021, now they have to actually show that, yes, we are going to be playoff contenders on a regular basis. The plan is coming to fruition. This is the year. This is what I was saying even way back when, that 2021 was the year. Now is the time. So if you're going to sign Jacoby Brissett to be the backup, that works for me. He's mobile. He's got experience. He can do pretty much everything that they need him to do. So I'm all for it. Part of my heart wishes that they had been willing to bring back Ryan Fitzpatrick, but hey, he got paid by Washington. I'll be rooting for them to win that division this year. But I mean, it's fine. Brissett, I can live with that as a backup. He's probably one of the better backup options we could have had.
There's a lot of excitement, not just from the Dolphins, from a number of fan bases about Kyle Pitts, the Florida tight end in the draft, even getting to the point where, and I know the Dolphins have a pretty damn good pass-catching tight end in Mike Gesicki, but Kyle Pitts is so special that a lot of people, myself included, would not mind bringing him in and throwing him into that mix. Would you be for or against the idea of drafting Kyle Pitts? And hell, you might need to use the number 3 pick to get him. Are you for or against that idea?
I'm not against it. I don't know if I would say I'm for it yet, because what are you using Kyle Pitts for? He's a weapon, right? Mm-hmm. So, and also the mentality is that Kyle Pitts will be here when Mike Gesicki's contract runs out next season, and all of a sudden you're going to have to pay this guy. Are you willing to pay the market price, whatever that may be, for, well, as much as we love him as a weapon, he is a limited player. He can't block. Don't expect him to block. And we have often lamented that he kind of runs like a baby giraffe. It's not exactly graceful. But, I mean, he's really come into his own in the past 2 seasons, but I don't know if I'm willing to pay a fortune to keep him. So if the mentality is Pitts is the eventual replacement for Gesicki, then by all means. If you are going to pay Gesicki and you're going to bring in Pitts, okay, that means you're going to try to create the Patriots Gronk Hernandez duo. I can live with that too. My issue, though, is that if you're going to do that, then you do have to find somebody off the street in free agency, because we do need at least one more wide receiver that we can count on. And as much as I say, let Albert Wilson compete, the other guy, Allen Hurns, I'm not so hot on. So you got to find somebody that we can say, yes, this is going to be our weapons core. So if you're going to go for Pitts, you got to sign somebody. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Hey, what did you think about the Bernardrick-McKinney trade over the weekend with the Dolphins sending Shaq Lawson to Houston and getting Bernardrick-McKinney? I really like it. I think that this is a guy who can really help the Dolphins with their run stuffing, and he's not even – he didn't have a great year in coverage in 2019, but not even that bad in coverage, his stats would show. Do you like that move?
As far as I'm concerned, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it, but Chris Greer always seems to throw these trades out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess that's a thing. So when I saw it, I thought to myself, all right, so we have a middle linebacker again. I was a little bummed when Raekwon got traded to Oakland, but that's okay. Landon Roberts kind of got a little bit better as the season went on, but he wasn't exactly something I was going to be counting on to make the big play when it was needed. McKinney, on the other hand, is pretty much everything Miami needed at the middle linebacker position. He's a former Pro Bowler. He's an excellent run stuffer. He's the thumper that we've needed in the middle for quite some time now, and he's going to be an excellent complement to Jerome Baker. Now, Miami still needs a pass rusher. I firmly believe Miami still needs somebody who can actually beat offensive tackles one-on-one on a regular basis. they missed out on Carl Lawson. They didn't get Matt Judon or any of those other guys that have already gotten paid. Yep. But then again, they got paid. So you have a situation where you're going to have to look for some bargain bin prices here. I mean, Leonard Williams just got like $20 million a year.
Yeah, I think so.
It's like you would think that in a cap-starved NFL economy, so to speak,
3 years,
they wouldn't be sending out these
3 years, $63 million for Leonard Williams is the number.
So $21 million a year for a defensive lineman. That's paramount to the deal that the Dolphins gave Ndamukong Suh way back when, and nobody thought that contract was a good idea.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you're going to have to find a pass rusher somewhere. Maybe they're going to find a gem in the draft. That's fine with me, but they need to find somebody. I understand the generate pass rush argument, and while I'm not upset about the Bernardrick McKinney thing, I would think it was actually a very good trade. While Shaq Lawson didn't make a lot of pass rushing, that is one less pass rusher that we have on the roster. So I expect more out of Andrew Van Ginkel, but I would feel a little better if we had one more guy we could count on a regular basis.
I like it. Great stuff here as always. Louis Sung, you can check him out. 5reasonsports.com. He owns Fin Maniacs as well. Follow him on Twitter at Louis D. Sung. Thank you so much, my friend. Have a great week.
You too, Alex. Enjoy. Have your rest. Great your show.
Thank you so much, man. I'll always love talking Miami Dolphins with Louis. Man, so, yeah, for those just tuning in, we did see the news, got Lewis's take on it. You know, he said great to have a veteran. It's not that Jacoby Brissett excites him that much. I like the move. Jacoby Brissett, by the way, is a Miami Dolphin, has signed a one-year deal. The free agent quarterback has signed a deal to become a Miami Dolphin. I don't know if the terms have been put on the social media sphere yet. Adam Schefter just reported it about 8-9 minutes ago that Jacoby Brissett is on his way to the Miami Dolphins. And I like it. That was one of, out of like the veterans out there, the old heads, Jacoby Brissett was my preference, right? I had spoken highly of Alex Smith, but my understanding always was, you know, Smith is probably a lower cost option as far as who would be more capable to actually come in and start games if necessary. You never want that. You never want your backup to have to start games because it means either your starter is hurt or your starter is ineffective. So I don't want to have to see my backup start any games. But if he does have to get, prolonged action, I would trust Jacoby Brissett more than I would trust Alex Smith in 2021. So I like this move. And he also checks off the veteran box, okay? Because I don't want my second-year starting quarterback to be backed up by a first- or second-year guy. I need someone with a couple gray hairs. I need someone who's going to be able to, to mentor and advise a little bit. That was something that Ryan Fitzpatrick was really good at, but, Ryan Fitzpatrick wanted to compete for a starting job. He gets that in Washington, wouldn't have gotten it here. And then you also have the dynamic of Fitzpatrick being the guy that was the specter over Tua's shoulder last year, and I don't think the Dolphins wanted to recreate that dynamic, and so they go elsewhere. And I like the Jacoby Brissett deal a lot, and he's a West Palm Beach native. So he gets to come home. He gets to come home to South Florida. So there you go, 844-416-8123, 844-416-8123. And God, people are fighting over what Tyrod Taylor to Houston means. I think it means he's the backup quarterback. I mean, people are like, oh, they signed Tyrod Taylor. They're about to trade Deshaun Watson. I don't know, man. I think that's a little bit too much of a leap. We continue on till 6 o'clock here on Onside Radio. Hey, Saturdays, sports fans have a place to talk sports and gambling when the J-Rod Experience takes over every Saturday afternoon. Tune in Saturdays from 2 to 4 p.m. as Jim provides you the sports investment information you need to have a little fun on the weekends. That's the J-Rod Experience, 2 to 4 p.m. only at OnsideRadio.com.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. We'll be right back to the man of the match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Listen to every Inter-Miami CF match on your home for La Rosa Negra, OnsideRadio.com. Catch us every day on the MyTuner Radio app. If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
She's kind of young, so I don't know. She may not be into Van Halen much. Let's see. Hey, Ruthie, good afternoon. Are you a Van Halen fan?
You know, I just had to Google Van Halen. I'm not going to lie to you. I just literally have it on my computer right now.
The Onside Zone with Big O. Weekdays 11 to 1 p.m. Only on OnsideRadio.com.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
The Miami Dolphins and former Colts quarterback Jacoby Brissett have reached an agreement on a 1-year deal after Ryan Fitzpatrick signed with the Washington football team yesterday. Brissett will be going to the season as Tua's backup. The Florida Panthers now sit at the top of the Central Division after beating the Chicago Blackhawks last night 6-3. Alexander Barkov led the way for the Panthers with a goal and 2 assists. The Cats have the next couple of days off, but are back on the ice Thursday night against the Nashville Predators at the BB&T Center. Puck drops at 7 p.m. The Miami Heat look to make it 5 wins in a row tonight as they take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Bam Adebayo is expected to play tonight after missing the last 4 games. Tip-off is at the AAA at 8 p.m. The Miami Marlins take on the Washington Nationals in a bit, and there will be a lefty showdown as Trevor Rogers will be starting for the Fish against Patrick Corbin for the Nationals. First pitch is at 6:05. With your Onside Sports Update, I'm Alex Aguirre, and coming up next is more of Man of the Match with Alex Donno, and Game Night with Michael Christian is right after at 6 p.m. You're listening to the only locally owned sports station in South Florida, OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
How we feeling, Dolphins Nation? Jacoby Brissett, new backup quarterback. The excitement from Alex Aguirre. Alex, by the way, do you think Tyrod Taylor to Houston means anything? I think Rafa made a good point in the YouTube chat. Tyrod is the insurance in case Watson holds out, nothing more. I mean, they also needed a backup because I don't think they had anybody else in there. So, I mean, he checks off both boxes. Like Tyrod Taylor is an experienced starter in the league. So, yeah, if Watson holds out, then, obviously no one's going to get too excited about Tyrod Taylor starting for your club in 2021. But if Deshaun Watson holds out, yeah, you've got Tyrod who can go out there and start. But even if Watson doesn't hold out, that's a really good veteran backup quarterback. I mean, I like Tyrod as a backup, not so much as a starting quarterback. So I don't really think this means anything because they needed a quarterback. Like, they needed a quarterback or two, depending on Watson. So I still think Deshaun Watson should be traded. I just think the Houston Texans might be crazy enough not to trade him. What do you think?
I agree with what Rafa was saying. He's an insurance policy, you know, like if Watson holds out, then you have Tyrod, you know, that he's a capable QB. He can start. He can, you know, he's a backup. So he's done a little bit of both. So it's a good sign. It's a good signing. And then let's say they trade Watson, and then you're left with Tyrod as your starter. Well, you know, they're rebuilding anyway. So you're left with a guy who's at least started NFL games. So I'm not thinking too much into it as a Dolphins fan. Like the Dolphins haven't made any moves yet, except for one trade. So let's they're trying to go for the whole pie. Let's just try to get a slice at least.
Yeah, I tweeted out earlier today that the New England Patriots are shopping at Saks Fifth Avenue, and the Miami Dolphins are shopping at Dollar Tree. I was very frustrated. I went on a bit of a meltdown today. You know what set me off? You know what the trigger point was? When the Pats signed Hunter Henry, because I like him a lot. And actually, I'm not happy he's a Patriot, but I'm kind of happy he's not a Charger anymore. I want weapons to be taken away from Justin Herbert. I have this unhealthy dislike for Justin Herbert. I'll admit this to you guys. I am rooting for him to fail. And it's only because I got so annoyed by the narrative last year that if Justin Herbert is good, that must mean Tua Tagovailoa sucks. Why do we have to speak in those kind of absolutes? Justin Herbert had a really good year. His team didn't win shit, but Justin Herbert had a really good year last year. Was chucking it all over the field, was putting up big numbers, rookie of the year. Everyone in Los Angeles / San Diego, are there still fans? Like it's crazy because when they moved that team from San Diego to L.A., people acted as though they moved the team to London. It's like a 2.5-hour drive. Man up. Like if they decided to move the Dolphins to Fort Pierce or something, I wouldn't be all bitter and say, I'm not going to root for this team. You took my football team away. If you love the team, you drive an extra goddamn hour. Oh, in San Diego. Oh, my God. They took my football team away. Well, your stadium was a dilapidated toilet. They kind of had to move that team away. And they play now in a palace that they built in Inglewood, I think is where they built that stadium. I don't know. It's like I remember a couple of years ago going to Los Angeles and like you fly over it when you land at LAX and they were building it, and it's gigantic, that stadium there in Los Angeles. So yeah, I mean you had a dump for a stadium in San Diego. You had to move the team. If you love the team that much, you can watch it on TV. It's not that difficult, or sack up and drive a couple of extra hours to watch a game in Los Angeles if you really love the team that much. But still, like this Justin Herbert, it's unhealthy. I should not wish failure to any NFL player. And, you know, I hope that he lives a long, healthy, prosperous life. I just hope he doesn't win another football game. Is that too much to ask for? Like, I hope that he, you know, I don't know his marital situation. I hope he finds a lovely wife and they have like 17 children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. I just want him to fail miserably on the football field. That's all that I ask. Is it that hard? He's going to make a lot of money doing it. You get paid 6 figures or 7 figures, 8 figures maybe to fail in the NFL as a quarterback. I don't want him to succeed, and you take a weapon away from him. I'm hoping that means good things. You know, for the Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert comparison. I want Tua to win that comparison. Our guy Andy from Scotland tweeted a picture about an hour ago. I got to get more details on this, man. A Scottish favorite, the deep-fried Snickers. And he tweeted me a photo of, presumably a Snickers bar, battered, deep-fried with some powdered sugar on top. This looks like the type of thing I would get at the county fair. And I love county fairs. I'm so mad that there's no fair. I understand why, pandemic, but I'm so mad there's no fair this year. I hope they do the thing they did last year where they have like drive-through fair food at the fair, because I love the like the deep-fried Twinkies, the fried Oreos. I think they do fried Snickers at the county fair. I had no idea that's a Scottish favorite, the deep-fried Snickers. So look, and I've never been to Scotland. It seems like a lovely place, and I hope to go there someday. So, Andy, if I ever have the privilege of traveling to Scotland, is that going to be like something the folks are frying up out in the countryside? Or if I go to a restaurant, can I order one for dessert? I am very intrigued by this deep-fried Snickers. It looks quite gluttonous, but most of the best desserts are, man, the deep-fried Snickers. I want to make sure I retweeted that. Did I retweet that tweet? I know I liked it. Hold on. Andy from Scotland. I didn't. Let me retweet that. The deep-fried Snickers. All right, I'm going to write the caption. I need to go to Scotland and try one of these. There you go. The deep-fried Snickers. I love that. 844-416-8123 is how you reach us. That's 844-416-8123. I feel like I let the Canes fans down today. Didn't talk enough Canes today. Christy Chirinos tweeted out, catching up with a few of the Canes after this morning's practice wrapped up, day 2 of spring ball today. Quarterback Tyler Van Dyke on De'Aaron King. Quote, De'Aaron's a really calm, relaxed person. He's a great leader. I'm really trying to learn from him and his leadership, the way he does his daily routine. And supposedly Van Dyke is tearing it up in spring practice. Take that with a grain of salt because it's spring practice. But Van Dyke is apparently looking really good out there. And I'm happy. Light a fire on that kid's ass because Tyler Van Dyke sees the prodigal son, the golden boy, Jake Garcia, came in as a true freshman. I need to compete, right? Because guess what? I would imagine that whichever one of those two guys doesn't win the starting job in 2022, because in 2021, it's De'Aaron King's job as soon as he's healthy, right? But in 2022, it's going to come down between Jake Garcia and Tyler Van Dyke. And the way that it goes in modern-day college football, 15, 20 years ago, this may not be the case. But in today's college football, whichever one of those guys doesn't win the starting job is probably going to transfer somewhere else. So Tyler Van Dyke knows how important it is having Jake Garcia, who's a year younger than him, but they're both freshmen. One's a redshirt, Van Dyke. The other's a true freshman. Like, he knows that, if he doesn't win the starting job next year and Garcia does, that he's not going to get his opportunity at Miami more than likely. So he knows how important this is. All right, when we come back, we're going to bring in Michael Christian for the crossover before he hosts Game Night tonight. Weeknights 6 to 7 p.m. Catch Game Night with Michael Christian. Listen to the show that provides the smorgasbord that gamers love and sports fans desire. From breaking sports news to the latest in gaming culture, catch Game Night with Michael Christian from 6 to 7 exclusively at OnSideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. You can connect with us at OnSideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnSideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
For over 20 years, Mr. Glass has been committed to the safety and satisfaction of our clients. Our products are the culmination of innovative engineering, aesthetic appeal, and the highest levels of quality. Through our legacy, Mr. Glass strives to impart the true meaning of quality, service, and sustainability to new generations. Reputation, experience, and trust is why clients choose Mr. Glass. Live the future now. Locate a dealer near you today.
At Baptist Health, we are ready
to serve, to treat,
to safely proceed with your procedure.
We're ready for ER visits and office visits with skilled surgeons,
advanced medicine,
and multidisciplinary teams. We're ready for new arrivals
and new recoveries.
We are ready.
We're ready to diagnose, treat, and manage
anything that comes our way
with exceptional care and comfort.
with the same preparedness and compassion you've come to expect from Baptist Health.
And we are ready.
We're ready.
We're ready
to care for you.
Can I get a captain?
Captain and what?
Captain and Ginger.
I can't hear you.
Captain and Ginger.
He was a captain and ginger. Captain and ginger. He was a captain and ginger.
Captain Morgan, official partner of Major League Soccer.
Every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the country when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to two of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans. OnSideRadio.com. You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world.
Big news, Miami fans! Body Armor is proud to be the new official sports drink of Major League Soccer and Inter Miami CF. It doesn't matter if you're a player or a fan, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you with potassium-packed electrolytes, antioxidants, and no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Whether you're at home or in the starting lineup, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you from kickoff to the final whistle. Body Armor, now the official sports drink of Inter Miami CF, available at your local Publix.
You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Congratulations to Real Madrid. They knocked Atalanta out of Champions League. I did take a flyer on Atalanta, lost that bet. I did win, though, on Manchester City minus -1.5. They officially knock out Borussia Mönchengladbach. Let's bring in Michael Christian, who hosts Game Night, 6 to 7 p.m. Michael, I loved your eSports Minute today that's been playing on the station. But you got to explain to me this EA Sports token thing. It kind of sounds like that scandal with the kid of the Nike executive who was like, getting those shoes at a discount and selling them. What was going on with these EA things?
Yeah, so in the FIFA Ultimate Team, you're basically collecting players. There are some that are incredibly rare and very valuable, and they'll sell for, millions of coins in the game. What that translates to in dollars is kind of rough because it's just not a one-to-one currency or anything like that. But there was basically a guy who was selling them through black market channels and just selling them for maybe like $150 to $200 and a lot more than that at times. And you'd be like, all right, I'll give you 3 of these cards so you take them on your account, which is basically throwing off anybody that buys packs to try to legitimately get them, because now they'll never appear because they've been given to all the hackers or all the people that are cheating.
Wow, it's interesting stuff. Well, have fun on the show today. What do you have planned?
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to open up with some Miami Heat talk. Then I'm going to dive into Madden, and there was a supposed leak about the next cover athlete. Want to discuss that. Ooh. And I've got Juan Cardona coming on, going to talk to him about all things Dolphins, because it looks like that Deshaun Watson trade might be becoming more and more likely.
God,
I know he loves DW more than anybody else, so I'm going to have him on at 6:30 to talk about it.
If the Dolphins don't acquire DW, I'm going to feel so bad for Juan Cardona because he's basically devoted his life to Deshaun Watson. I'm going to feel really bad for him. Have a great show, Michael.
Appreciate it, man. You have a good evening.
Huge thanks to Alex Aguirre. Huge thanks to Tito Bonach, everyone who listened, everyone who chatted with us on YouTube and chatted with us on the text line. Michael Christian is coming up next. This is your home for the only locally owned sports station in South Florida. We are OnSideRadio.com.
OnSideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds.
Can you count, suckers?
Here's your Onside Radio E-Report with Michael Christian.
Electronic Arts has now suspended discretionary content granting following the events of EA Gate. EA-gate was the Twitter name given to the allegations that someone involved with EA was selling rare FIFA Ultimate Team cards through black market channels. In a statement released, EA said the alleged behavior is unacceptable and in no way do we condone granting or purchasing player items in exchange for money. This practice runs counter to the game's competitive integrity, is a violation of EA's user agreement, and is not something we tolerate. All accounts involved have been banned and EA is currently investigating the individuals involved. If you are looking to improve your FIFA Ultimate Team by buying some packs or checking out the auction market, I'd hold off until all this gets sorted out.
Stay in touch in the world of gaming with the Onside Radio E Report.
Now streaming online.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Welcome to OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. No station in South Florida provides more live and local sports talk.
This is like rock and roll with no music.
Follow us on social media at Onside Radio.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the